go opposite of each
I
other?
don't know. We have 30 minutes.
I think that's the best route forward.
Alright, no, you're fine. We're gonna focus on that here. Okay. So whatever drama is happening. Okay, so, Friday, that is band
Yeah.
day.
We got 30
Not
minutes in this
everyone's
class.
But you'll be in this class for part of the time,
30
right?
minutes.
So we'll figure that out. We'll talk about that on Thursday, how we might handle that. But what we need to do right now is get our practice test back out. Grant, your homework did not come through. It wasn't attached.
It wasn't.
No. Jen, did you send that? Or give it to me? So yesterday we're on practice test 1, right? Practice test 1. And we're ready for 2C.
Yes.
Yep. So here we go. Now, the good news is 2C is already factored. So we're going to go straight to the handy dandy number line. And where are the dots going to go on the number line?
1 and
-4.
At -4 and 1, right? Those dots will be shaded. And now I just need to figure out where to shade. However, you notice that one of the factors is squared.
Yes.
What that means, kids, is there's no shortcut. You know how you're used to picking a number? Right? Okay, you're gonna have to pick 3 numbers, because you're gonna have to check here and here and here.
Because I'm totally blanking on the, like, when we did it during class. Why could you not do difference of squares for +4?
It's not x squared plus 4, it's just x before square.
This is x plus 4 times x plus 4. It's already been factored.
Okay, thank you.
When you have the parentheses, that's done. We don't need to mess with that anymore. Okay, so let's pick a number out here. Let's try -5. -5 plus 4 is -1, squared is 1. And -5 minus 1 is -6. Is 1 times -6 less than 0? Yes, so that is shaded. Alright, now, number in here, no alternating this time. 0 is a great choice, I love 0. 0 plus 4 is 4, squared is 16. 16 times -1, or excuse me, 16 minus 1 is, why did I say 16?
0 minus 1.
0 minus 1 is -1.
Multiply negative.
Is that number less than 0?
Yeah.
Yes, so that one's shaded also. I put in 0, I kind of messed that up. 0 plus 4 squared is 16, and then 0 minus 1, -1. All right, how about 2? 2 plus 4 is 6, squared is 36. 2 minus 1 is 1. Is 36 times 1 less than 0?
No.
No. So the answer is everything I shaded. Well,
Negative infinity to 1 bracket.
yeah, it's actually -1, or excuse me, negative infinity to 1, because the 4 is also shaded in, so isn't that whole thing shaded?
Yeah.
There's no breaks in it, so when I write my answer, I don't need to break anywhere, it's just all the way. This problem, you have to check every space to see what you're shading, because of that right there. Okay, what about D? What are we gonna do with D? Well, first of all, yeah, we're gonna add that 15 over to the other side, because if it's an inequality, we know we need a 0, and we also know we need a number line. But, can't really use my number line until I figure out where the dots go. So I gotta figure out that. So how do I figure out where to put the dots? I'm gonna use synthetic division, because this problem does not factor by group 8. Kids, can you kind of tell? Can you look at it and tell me? I know I can factor here. But is that parentheses gonna match this parentheses? No way. So that's not gonna work, so I'm gonna need to do synthetic division. And what are my numbers, possible numbers?
Negative, plus or minus, 1, 3, 5.
1, 3, 5, and 15, plus or minus? Now, I'll give you a little hint. When you look at this problem, you just think about it. Your end goal is to get a 0 right here, right? In order for that to happen, aren't there gonna have to be some minuses in here? But there aren't any minuses in the problem, so the only way I'm gonna get minuses is to put a negative number in here. So if you're thinking about it, you can shorten your work a little bit. Otherwise, try a positive number, it won't work, it's fine, go ahead, try it, it won't work, try another number. So what do you wanna try, a negative number?
Negative 1.
Negative what?
3.
3? So, negative 3, here we go. Oh, actually, woo, you guys need to buy a Powerball ticket. Actually, did anyone win the Powerball ticket?
I don't think, no.
No one won it again, so now it's gonna be more than 2 billion probably. I was, actually, this morning, I was one of those people that get to the polls before they open, so we're standing out in the dark in the parking lot waiting, waiting to vote. And the moon, did you see the moon? Anybody have to see the
Right.
moon?
Oh, blood moon, yeah.
It was some kind of eclipse, I forget what they called it. But then it's a blood moon, it was like
Yeah.
red, it was pretty amazing. Okay, anyhow, what does this tell me? This tells me that one of my dots is at negative 3. That is the dot. So one of them's at negative 3. I don't know where the other ones are, but one of them is at that point. Okay? Now, how am I gonna find the other ones?
Factor.
X squared plus 6x plus 5. Which factors as
1 to 5.
1 and 5, x plus 1, x plus 5. I'll FOIL that to double check. But I think you got it. So where are my other 2 dots?
Negative 1, negative 5.
At -5 and -1.
They're all shaded in.
And they're all shaded in. I know we've talked about sometimes we don't shade, but that's only when there's denominators, right? No denominator means you do what you're supposed to do, right? So it's colored in. Now, I need to, this one's gonna alternate fine. What's my third factor though?
X is 3.
X plus 3, that's exactly right, x plus 3. The dot's at -3, so the factor is x plus 3. So now I'm gonna pick one number, any number you want. How about we use 0? I like 0. 0 is out here. If I put in 0, I get 3 times 5 times 1. Is 3 times 5 times 1 less than 0?
No.
No. So I'm not going to shade there, which means I am going to shade here. No, yes.
But how did you know that?
What?
Like, how did you know that? Like,
The shading will always alternate unless you have something like this in the problem. As long as your factors are just regular, once you determine if one section is shaded, then you can just alternate to get all the rest of it. Or, Keisha, your alternative to that is, I picked a number out here, you can pick one here and check it, pick one here and check it, pick one here and check it. You just don't have to do that unless there's a square. Okay, so what's my final answer? Negative infinity to 5, bracket,
-5.
or negative 5, or
-3.
-3 to -1, bracket. Okay, so same thing over and over again, but what is your test gonna look like? So you're gonna have to do this on your test, all right? So be ready. You know the process. Be ready. Okay, E, letter E. This is not an inequality. So you're not gonna draw a number line. What are you gonna do with this? This is an equation. What are you gonna do with it? Get a common denominator. And you can use whatever common denominator you want. Any common denominator will work. So when you see a 5, a 10, and an X, you might think 10X. Somebody might think 50X. Somebody might think 100X. It doesn't matter. Any common denominator. So which one do you want to use? 10. So if we use 10X, then this guy needs a 2X. This guy needs a 10. And this guy needs an X. Whatever common denominator you choose, you gotta turn them all into that. So multiply by whatever you need to make them all the same. Once they're the same, we can drop them. So we have 18X plus 30 equals 7X. Does that look okay? So 30 equals negative 11X. I got 30 over negative 11.
Yep.
Now, look at the next problem. What has to happen first in that next problem? We have to factor that last one. Now, remember I told you that in problems like this, it's very predictable. Almost always, when you factor that right there, when you factor that denominator, you're gonna get these as the factors. So I just wrote those two down, and then I checked it to make sure it worked. So that guy, that end thing, factored into these two. That is almost always gonna happen. Okay? It's happened in every problem like this week. All right, so now what? I got that factored correctly. Now what?
You're gonna multiply the 2x minus 3 by x plus 1.
This guy
And
needs
vice versa.
an x plus 1. And this guy needs a 2x minus 3. Now I want everybody's beady little eyes focused up here a minute. What am I trying to get? A common denominator. And what does that mean? That means every fraction has the same denominator, right? Now I want you to look at that fraction right there. Does he have the common denominator?
Yes.
So don't multiply him by something. Some of you guys on yesterday's quiz, you ended up with this massive problem because you put the common denominator up here too. You don't need it. It's already there. So this is equals negative 8. It doesn't need anything else. This is 4x plus 4.
It needs an x.
The 8.
The problem was next.
Oh, on the original? Okay, yeah, so that's negative 8x. It still doesn't need the denominator.
Plus 2x
So
squared
plus
minus 3x.
2x squared minus 3x. That's my equation now that I'm gonna solve. So I want everybody to look at that, because there were actually quite a few of you that messed that up. I'm gonna hand those back here shortly. Everybody with me to this point? Okay, let's clean it up. So we have 2x squared plus x plus 4 equals negative 8x.
Is that equal to 0?
Get it equal to 0 because it's a quadratic. So 2x squared plus 9x. Okay, what are you gonna do with that?
Factor.
It does factor. So when you can see that, go ahead and factor it. Because there's a 2x squared here, you're gonna need a 2x and an x. That's how you get the 2x squared. And if I put the 4 here and the 1 here, do you see how I'll get my 9? That's 8 and 1. So x is gonna equal negative 1/2 or negative 4. Now, for those of you that aren't comfortable doing that, you can do the quadratic formula on this. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You don't have to do it both ways. I'm doing it both ways because I want you to see that it's possible. What's the square root of 49? So negative 9 plus or minus 7 over 4. Not the square root of 7, it's 7. Square root of 49 is 7. So what's negative 9 plus 7?
Negative 2.
Negative 2 over 4 is negative 1/2. What's negative 9 minus 7? Negative 16 over 4, which is negative 4. Did we get the exact same two answers?
Yes, we did.
We did. Now, we do need to double check and make sure. I don't think either one of those is gonna make a 0 in the denominator. So those are the answers. Negative 1/2 and negative 4 both work. But this is the kind of problem where sometimes you can be extraneous. So again, you're gonna get this, and you're either gonna figure out how to factor it, or you're gonna do the quadratic formula. Don't do both. That would be a waste of time. All right, and then the last page of the test is our 2-word problems. So the first one is our mixture problem. So amount times percent plus amount times percent equals amount times percent. Right? So here we go. Percentages, 9%, be careful, how does 9% go in?
0.09.
0.09, be careful, 2 decimal places. Must be mixed with a 0.03 to get a 0.05. How much must be mixed with a 3% to get 15 gallons of 5? So the 15 goes here, kids. It goes with the one that's within the sentence. So what's
Minus
this one?
15 minus x.
15 minus x. Very, very good. When we're adding them together, this is a plus. But if this is the biggest, if this is the total amount, we have to subtract to get the lesser amount. Right? So yesterday, the 15 was here, so this was 15 plus x. When the 15's here, it's 15 minus x, every time. All right, let's solve it. Yep, 5 gallons, my unit. Anybody else get that? You don't just copy down what I wrote, cause it could be wrong.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you get one of each of these word problems on your test. One mixture and one doing the job together problem. All good with that? All right, here we go. Will and Zane can paint a fence together in 12 hours. It takes Will 15 hours alone. How long does it take Zane alone? All right, what's that look like?
1 over 15 plus 1 over x equals 1 over 12.
1 over.
12.
All right, guys, is he right? Yep, because this is Will alone. We do not know Zane alone, but we know that together is 12. And it's always 1 over alone plus 1 over alone equals 1 over together, always. So, what are we gonna do? We need a common denominator, right? This is one, I think it's just easiest. Let's just use 15, 12, and x. Now, there are smaller options, but man, then I gotta figure out what they are. I'd rather just use 15, 12, and x, okay? If you wanna use a different option, there's no problem with that. We're gonna get the same answer. So I'm gonna multiply this one by 12, x. This one by 15 and 12. And this one by 15x. So I have 12x plus, is that 180?
180.
Equal to 15x. I'm using 15x and 12 as my common denominator, giving everything a 15, an x, and a 12. So 3x equal, oh my gosh, does it take him 60 hours?
Yep.
It takes him 60 hours to do the job on his own. All right, test 1, down. So now you know exactly what you need to know. We're gonna practice again. Here we go. Practice test 2. All right, here we go. How do we start? What do we do? Start by factoring. Okay, so everybody's looking up here, or looking at your paper. Not necessarily up here, you're looking at your paper, and you're trying to figure out how to factor. So what do you, oh my gosh, we're all here today. God bless you people, good job. How do we factor this?
2 parentheses x minus 9.
I would take a 2 out of that numerator. Did everybody notice there's a GCF? A 2? And then, what do you notice when you pull that 2 out? What are you left with? The difference of squares. So we're gonna have 2, don't lose the 2, you gotta keep the 2. X plus 3, x minus 3. Now, what about the bottom? That's actually my numerator, I just out of room because of the TV. What about my bottom? What's my bottom gonna be?
X minus 4, x minus 3.
I heard x minus 4, x minus 3. I'm gonna check that. X squared. Yep, we're right. Perfect, good job. See how I checked it? This is a short test, guys. This isn't gonna take that long to do. Check your factoring. All right, so where do we go from here?
You gotta take.
Also, X plus 3 is.
We
equal-
see we got a match here. So our actual equation, again, keep the two. The actual equation is this. This is what I'm graphing. So where do I go now?
Find your hole by plugging
Okay,
in. negative
so
by plugging
the
in three.
hole is going to be a point, and it is going to happen where x is 3. Everybody see that? 3? And then how do we get the other part of it? We plug it here. Don't go back to the beginning, you're not going to get the right answer. You need to plug it in here. So, if I put in a 3, I'm gonna have 2 times 6 over negative 1. Putting in a 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. So what is that? Negative 12? Okay. So my hole is down here at 3, negative 12. You can either add more hash marks to your graph or stick some in between or something. Clear down there at negative 12. All right, what else? So in the blank over here where it says hole, you're gonna write this right here, that orange there. All right, what else do you know about this picture?
Horizontal asymptote at 4. I mean, from vertical, sorry.
Vertical asymptote is that x equals 4. How does he know that? He's right. How does he know that? Makes the denominator equal 0. Vertical asymptotes are cannot be's. X cannot be 4. That would make the denominator 0. That's a vertical asymptote. X equals 4. Vertical means up and down, right? What? What?
The vertical.
I already have a vertical asymptote up here.
Oh, sorry. I mean horizontal.
The horizontal asymptote is y equals 2. Why is it y equals 2? Because how do you get horizontals? You box them in, right? 2x over x. Okay, what else?
X intersect at negative 3.
X-intercept at negative 3, because x-intercepts make the function 0. They give you a 0. If you put in a negative 3 on the top, you get 0. The numerator is 0 if you let x be negative 3.
Y-intercept 0, and then 3 over negative 2.
So to get my y-intercept, I'm gonna plug in 0. So I'm gonna have 2 times 3 over negative 4. I'm letting x be 0. So negative 3 halves, negative 1 1/2. Do I have enough to draw a picture? Because we know our very nice, wonderful teacher is not going to give you some wacko graph. It's going to be a reciprocal function, right? So you've got a piece of it down here, connect all these dots. Oops, that's not a dot, that's a zero. Connect all these dots, including the hole down there. And then what?
Top right corner.
There's a piece up here. You don't have any points up there, but you know that your graph is a reciprocal, so it's going to be across from each other, the two pieces. inequalities. Alright, so here we go, first one, we did one of these yesterday, we'll do one again tomorrow, we'll do one on test day. That tells me two things. Tells me I need to get a 0, and I need to draw a number line. So to get 0, I'll subtract it over. And I'll go ahead and draw my number line, but I need to figure out where the dots go on the number line. So how does that work? How do I find the dots? Alex?
X plus X, or positive 2, negative 2.
Okay, now a lot of kids will try that. This is not the difference of squares though, because it has an X there. If it were this, it would be X plus 2, X minus 2. Does everybody see the difference? That would be X plus 2, X minus 2. This is not. What do I do with that? Nope. Nope. This does not factor into two parentheses.
Do you see
The
it?
only two term, this is two terms. The only two term that will go into two parentheses is the difference of squares. So that would. That doesn't. What?
Take the X out.
Take the X out. Boys and girls, think about, you want to factor this as X plus 4, X minus 4, but you can't because of that X right there, so get rid of it. Pull it out. What am I left with if I take out an X?
X minus 4.
X minus 4. That doesn't factor, that's done, I'm finished.
Point at 0.
So where are my dots?
0.
I got one at 0 and one at 4. And that's it. Those are my two dots. We had a question on yesterday's practice test that was exactly like this, only I think that was a 6.
Yeah.
Kids, there's one of these on your test. So look at it, look what I did. There's a GCF, take it out. Okay, now what? Now what? Gotta pick a number, and I like to pick 0, but I can't this time, so I gotta pick something else.
1, 5.
5, if I put in 5, I get 5 times 1. Is 5 times 1 less than 0?
No.
Don't shade it, which means I do shade this one, and don't shade that one. So my answer is parentheses 0 to 4. All right, oh, now we got one of the big ones. Okay, what do we do with this? Oh my. Yeah, we gotta move the 3 over because don't we need to get a 0?
Yeah.
So we'll move that 3 over. Oops, that's a 2. And that 3 is really a 3 over 1. Okay, what do I do now? Common denominator, and since that's just a 1, this is gonna be the common denominator. So x minus 2 here and here, perfect. Now, remember, with an inequality, you must keep the denominator. So you can't do what we did with the equations, you gotta keep the denominator. What's our numerator?
X plus 4 minus 3x plus 6.
Minus 3x plus 6 plus 6. So I'm gonna get here negative 2x plus 10. Is that right? Now, for sure there's gonna be a dot at 2. Would everyone agree with that? That negative stuff confuses the heck out of me. So negative 2x plus 10 equals 0. To figure out where the dot's going to be for the top here, I'm gonna solve this. Where does it look like the dot's gonna be for the top? 5?
Shaded.
There isn't a equal to in this problem, so I know I have to shade something,
But only the 5.
but
Only
it
the
can't
five.
be the bottom, so it's only the dot from the top, so the 5's gonna get shaded. And now I need to figure out what part of the number line to shade, so I can use 0 this time. 0's out here. So 0 plus 10, 0 minus 2. Is that bigger than 0?
No,
It's negative 5. Is negative 5 bigger than 0? Nope. So I'm not gonna shade here, which means I will shade here and I won't shade here. So my answer, whoops, is parentheses 2, 5 bracket. Okay? Alright, come on, we're gonna finish this guy. You can do it. What do I do with the next problem?
already factored.
It's already factored and it already has a 0, so I'm going straight to the number line. Where are the dots?
3 and negative.
Negative 3 and positive 3? And they are colored in? So I can pick 0 again. 0's right in here. So 0 would give me 3. 0 minus 3 is negative 3 squared is 9. So I get 27. Is that bigger than 0?
Yes.
Yep, so I go ahead and shade that. That worked.
But you still have to check the other two.
But yeah, I'm not done. I have to keep checking. So maybe 4. Because of this right here, this is the deal breaker. So 4 would be 7 times 1. Well, that's also bigger than 0.
Profits,
How about negative 4? Negative 4 would give me negative 1 times negative 4 minus 3, negative 7 squared, 49. Is negative 1 times 49 bigger than 0?
no.
So everything that's shaded is my answer. It looks like I start at negative 3 and go all the way, right? Remember, we are doing your test right now, you guys, so as hard as it is for some of you to pay attention, you best. This is your test, this is your practice. Is my first step okay with everybody?
Yep.
I gotta get a 0, so I just moved everything over, put it in order. Is grouping going to work with this?
No.
About it. So, I guess I'm going to, yes,
2 times 3.
and divide. So
Right.
it'll
I
be,
didn't-
Can't.
No, it won't get the same as the
Oh,
expenses.
never mind.
you can always group.
It won't be the
The
same.
problem is the parentheses are not going to match, right? So you can always try, and if it works, awesome, but they're not gonna match. So,
Oh,
I need factors of 6. I need to guess them, so,
1.
yep, 1, 2, 3, and 6, plus or minus. What do you wanna try?
1.
1? We don't try 1 very often, we probably should. Definitely we should this time, because it worked. So on my number line, I will have a dot at 1. For sure. Whatever gave me a 0 is a dot. Now, where are the other 2 dots coming from? This is a 3-dot problem, x cubed. Where are the other 2 coming from?
Back to its left.
X squared plus 5x plus 6. What do you think? They have to times the 6 and add up to 5.
Plus 2 plus 2.
2 and 3. There's no minuses in this problem. Please don't put any minuses in the factors. Can't have any negatives in this problem. So here are 2 of my factors. What's my third one?
-1.
X minus 1. So here are my factors. My other 2 dots will be at -2 and -3. So now what do I need to do?
Yes.
I need to figure out where to shade, right? So I like 0. 0's right here. So I'll put 0 in, so 0 minus 1, 0 plus 2, and 0 plus 3. So when I multiply all those together, I actually got -6. Is -6 less than 0? So I'm gonna shade that part. Don't shade, do shade, don't shade, do shade. So -infinity, -3. Oh, are my dots open? Yep. And -2 to 1. Everybody okay with that one? That's a more time-consuming problem than some of the other ones. Okay. Now we've got our simple little equation here to solve. All the denominators need to match. You just decide what you want them to match as. There's lots of different options. What do you want these to go?
8x.
You want them all to be 8x. Then this one needs an 8. This one needs a 2x. And this one needs an x. Now are they all 8x?
Yeah.
Somebody else might say, no, I'd rather make it 32x. Fine, makes no difference. Just make them all the same. So 16 plus 6x equals 9x. So 16 equals 3x. And x equals 16 thirds. Come on, stay with me, you're doing great. What's the first thing you're gonna do with problem F?
Factor the
You're gonna factor the middle one, and how do you think the middle one is going to factor?
X plus 5,
X plus 5, X plus 3. We are using the problem itself as a hint, right?
Can you factor the top two?
Nope, it doesn't factor, and I don't need to factor it.
Okay.
And it doesn't, but even if it did, I wouldn't. I'm all about getting my denominators the same. So what does this one need? And X plus 3? What does the middle one need? Nothing. Leave it alone. What does the end one need? X plus 5. Now, look at your denominators. Do they all match now? Life is good. So 2x squared plus 6x, that's what I have right here. Would everyone agree with that? Guys, paying attention? Is that what I have? Now be careful with this one. See this minus sign right here? That's subtracting that whole fraction. So it's gonna be minus x squared plus x plus 10. This minus goes with the whole fraction. So it's distributed all the way through, subtracting everything in the numerator. Equals 3x plus 15. All right, let's clean it up. Looks like x squared plus 7x plus 10. Hit 0. By subtracting the 3x and subtracting the 15. I heard somebody say what, Jude? X plus 5, x minus 1. Jude says, I'm gonna factor this guy. He has factored correctly. If you don't wanna factor it, you can use the quadratic formula on it. So what are my answers then? From Jude's factors, x equals -5 or +1. What about -5, guys?
Makes it
Yeah,
zero.
that's extraneous. So the only answer to this one is 1. You've got to check those answers.
Are we seeing our quizzes today?
I guess I'm not gonna run out of time, so I'm heading back tomorrow. All right, here we go. I'll do that right at the beginning of the period tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, Jane can build a shelter in 4 hours. Maurice can build one in 6 hours. How long does it take them to build it together? What's that look like?
1/4 plus 1/6.
1/4 plus 1/6 equals 1/x. Is anybody confused by that? What's our formula? 1/alone plus 1/alone equals 1/together. What do you want to use as your common denominator? 12, okay, 12x. So this one by 3. Kids, you can use other things. You don't have to use 12. You can use 24, you can use 48, you can use whatever you want. But whatever you pick, make them all match. So we're doing 12x. So this one needs a 3x, this one needs a 2x, and this one needs a 12. So 3x plus 2x equals 12. So 5x equals 12, and I got 12 fifths hours. it would take them 12/5 hours to do the job.
Can you put that in here?
All right, one more. How much? 54% should be mixed with 6 quarts of 45% to get a 49%. Now, I filled in every parentheses I could as I was reading the question. Do those numbers in those places make sense to you?
Don't you put a X plus 6?
Yeah, one of them's empty, so I gotta figure out what goes in there. What's gonna go in this?
X plus 6.
6 plus X or X plus 6. Because this over here is the total. It's these two added together. So that's how we got the plus 6. Okay, here we go. I got 4 gallons. Quarts, 4 quarts. Okay. You got it, Mel? All right, well, we just took another test now. We've taken it twice. Tomorrow we'll do it the 3rd time. I think we're the lunch period tomorrow,